twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move. Trying to get the shot on. He holds. He shoots. He scores! Absolutely.
The pitch. High fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
How about that logo? 10 years. So proud of that. So honored at Bethel Park. Thanks to all of you for watching our show. Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. You've heard it before in the BP TV studios right here in Bethel Park. If you need to know, that's a municipal building with all the offices, the library, and the police stations right next door. So when Smokin' Jim gets a little rowdy, I call my friends up. And they have no problem coming right in here. I won't explain why. He can talk about it. No disclaimer on me. But thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park. And guess what? All over the greater Pittsburgh area, from Nemacolin, Cranberry, Wexford, all points in between. I was just out at my daughter's in Zelienople. I saw Cranberry, said, I know we got a fan or two there, saw Wexford. So I said hi to those folks. Hopefully they saw me. But we got a great show to talk about. Thanks for all the likes on Facebook. We're at 6,925. So we're moving up. We're looking for 7,000. A couple people told me they could get me more likes for it. Guess what? I got the smartphone. I can see that. I'm not seeing it, so try to get that up. We got some promos here. Here's my first one. We got A1. Hold it. I got to stop before we go any further. Get back on me. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. I got distracted because of our multiple conversations before the show. Our pre-show conversation was one of the best we've had, bar none. And we got Smokin' Jim Frazier. Chip Hayner's not here. Nick moved up to the hot seat with all the disclaimers flying at Smokin' Jim, and he's ready to disclaim 90% of what he says.
This seat usually makes me dizzy.
Understand. And then because Chip isn't here, I'll let him say his name because they told me I'll have trouble with his last name. He's back for his third appearance. He had two good appearances. Look at the swagoo he got.
Yeah, it's Anthony
Tell him
Payan.
your name.
Anthony Payan. I'm A2, my cameraman.
Yeah! The
I'm
man.
on the show.
AKA A2 because we got Anthony A1 because he's been here almost 2 years. You've only been here how long?
Since July of last year, right? Pretty sure.
All right. You're talking
8
7,
months.
8 months.
8 months.
8 months.
That's crazy.
Nice.
That's been a long time already.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Look at the fun we're having. He's here. And, of course, Al Levine, the talking machine. We'll bring that promo up. A1 was holding there. I told him time out. He put it on auto because he likes to play a little extra game here. He puts everything on auto, and he thinks I don't know it. I've done shows for 10 years. 10 years. Over 700. And look at that. Auto works once you focus it. That's the secret. Because I don't want them yelling at me after the show. They give us an XL pepperoni pizza. I talked to Frank's brother Mike tonight. He made the pizza. Rico, the Puerto Rican, wasn't in there yet. He comes in at 6. I was a little earlier today. I was enjoying the great scenery and warmer weather. And they're at Hillcrest Shopping Center. Check them out. Great Italian food, salads, desserts, you name it. They even have cans of pop. And yes, I said pop because I'm from Pittsburgh. And you know, we don't know what soda is. So you can have your soda from wherever you're from. And go to Hillcrest Shopping Center, right about in the middle there, closer to the Pizza Hut. Won't mention that. Go for the local business, 412-831-1900. Tell them Al Levine told you to call them. So enjoy their food and check them out, Hillcrest Shopping Center. All right, next up, we'll see how the auto does on this. He's making an adjustment, folks. Little play-by-play. He told me it's okay. We'll wait. Bang! We end each show with Stay Joey Strong to honor the poor boy Joey who had brain cancer, DIPG. It's a dreaded brain cancer. Kills you within a year. He was 8 years old when he died, and just terrible. That's 7 years ago. It was a month before his 9th birthday, and there's a picture with him without DIPG and with DIPG, which is terrible. The family's raised over $100,000. You can go to the Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, donate $1. Help volunteer for events that they do. They do different things during the year. The biggest event that if you listen to the show, it's the 5K 1 mile Superheroes Joey Fabus Run and Walk. We film it each year. I've been honored to do it every year except my kidney transplant, which was 2.5 years ago. Lucky Friday the 13th, September 2019. So now you know that stuff. But check them out. See what they're doing in the events. With COVID, it's been a little tough for them. But we did their 5K 1 mile run walk last year, and it was the biggest event of the year. So it's a great thing. Check it out. Next up, Bethel Park Historical Society. Wait till you see what Otto does today. Wait. There it is. Perfectly centered, even though I'm not moving much. Is there a little delay?
Yes.
Oh, I'm shaking. Got a little nervous. 2600 South Park Road, right up the hill from Pasta 2, where Smokin' Jim loves the Italian, I'll say Italian like he does, wedding soup. I didn't know any wedding soup that wasn't Italian. And I grew up with all Italians like piano here, and they would correct me all the time.
We got a
I knew
Veltri
it
in
was
the house
just
too.
Yeah, I know. We got Veltri putting the eyeballs on me. What about me? But that's what happens. So the Pasta 2's right down the street. KFC's about half a mile away. He got his bucket. They got rid of the 10-piece dark meat bucket.
Oh.
So I don't know what he's buying. I know he's not buying that chicken sandwich. He likes pieces of dark meat, and they put the breast meat on there. Now, I'm not picking on Smokin' Jim. I'm just talking about him with them here. He's my Ed McMahon, in case you didn't notice. All right, check him out. 1905 Schoolhouse. Was just telling my daughter about that, and she goes, wow, that's great that, they do that. And they have a dance company there. They have artists there. They have an auditorium by the Bethel Park Community Foundation. I'm a trustee on the board. We gave money for them to create an auditorium room for different activities, like Smokin' Jim trying to promote one of his cruises on the river.
A2 got dimples. I never knew that. Did you, Machine?
Yeah. Oh. See, a little sidebar.
You're really paying attention.
No. Here, I got to get personal here for a minute. Nick, I'm not a prima donna like Smokin' Jim.
No?
He just comes in like he's the star of the show. Hey, how you guys doing? Get out of my way.
It's because of the mask.
And then
Never
he's
seen
all
his face.
swagooed up. So he just sits down, even though he bought something for $5, $10, and $20 size 22.
I like the Bulls.
Today. And while we're off on a tangent, Reginald's Coffee has coffee better than Starbucks. They have green tea that I've gone there. Matt and Julie are the owners. My daughter said, you know what? I hear a lot of people like it because they have Orham's Donuts once a week. They're famous, delicious donuts. So go to Reginald's just for the donuts on that end. Wow. And they're just a great place. Maybe someday we can do a show there. I talked to Bill, who runs it, and we may be in the talks on going on location, maybe even on a Tuesday night, since we got Facebook Live and all this other stuff on Facebook pages.
Yes.
We can expand to YouTube, because I heard our boxing's going to get expanded to YouTube.
Yes.
Maybe we can do it on a night like tonight. All right, one more thing for autofocus man, A1. Let's see. No drum roll.
Bang.
There it is. It's centered. Look, I'm hitting that spot. Is it shaking yet? Because I'm nervous.
Yeah, look at it. There it is.
There's a little bit of a delay. I understand.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Always be smiling. This great family, Kristen and Dean, their son Bennett, they named it Always Be Smiling to honor him. 16 and a half years old. He died of kidney disease and other problems. He got a second kidney from his dad, Dean. He gave him a transplant like my son did for me, and he didn't make it past 16 and a half, so they honored him the past year, starting this 501c3. If you watched the show once or twice before, we did take our due diligence and time to explain the Smokin' Jim. It's called a nonprofit, and it's designated through the government, 501c3. You can write off income if you show it, unlike Smokin' Jim. That if you show your money, you can actually take a deduction because this is tax season, and you can do these things. And they raise money for other kids that have kidney problems and families that are getting transplants. They pay for hotel bills and other expenses for them. They do a bunch of different events throughout the year, so check out the page. I got them up over 1,000 likes because I had my friends like all of you liking their page, and friends are still liking it because I sent these likes out 6 months ago, 5 months ago. So some people are like Smokin' Jim, they're not technologically savvy, and somebody will tell them, just hit the like button on Always Be Smiling. So it's
The one
a great
with the
group.
thumb.
No, just
Yeah.
no.
That's the button.
Hit the like.
That's
Then talking about kidney transplant, a friend of mine gave me a new friend of mine, Kathleen Miller, who likes our show, believe it or not, and she has kidney disease. Her kidney function was 17%, which is stage 4 renal failure, like I had. It has to go down to stage 4 renal failure with 15% function, and she can get a kidney. Well, due to us putting this up on Pittsburgh Sportsline, because look at how Auto A1 did it. It's perfect. I didn't even shake on this because this is important. So she got a donor. We won't find out about the donor until her kidney function gets near where it's transplantable with 15. So we'll find out maybe sometime this year. Kathleen, if you're watching, hello. I got to give you a call and see how you're really doing. All right, let's see what... Otto didn't even touch anything because he trusted me. Here's what's unusual. A1 trusted that I could hit the mark. There's a tape mark right on the table. And he set me up for that, and I've fallen for it. Look at that. It's centered again.
The leaning vapor?
I want you for BPTV. 412-831-3304. I had to check again because I've been talking so much about discussing Major League Baseball with Nick. It just breaks my heart how he's not going to watch baseball anymore. That's a teaser.
I told you.
That's a teaser for later. That we're talking about working at BPTV. For all you high school kids, college kids that are interested in videography or anything that you went to school, tell them where you went to school because Smokin' Jim don't believe it.
Pittsburgh Technical College.
Where?
Pittsburgh Technical.
And you graduated.
And graduated.
And
I went to the Art Institute.
That's
No.
true. You went to
No, that's off the record. And then A1 went to the same school, and he graduated before you guys because, you know, he's older than you.
Get Google Maps,
All
man. That's
Smokin' Jim. Another sidebar. This is not a disclaimer because I can't really talk about somebody's intelligence. He actually worked, he told me, and I haven't verified it, I worked at the Post-Gazette in downtown Pittsburgh Boulevard of the Allies. At the next intersection was the IBM building, big silver building. Now the United States or the United Steelworkers Union has it, but Smokin' Jim.
I know how to type on a keyboard.
Smokin' Jim said he had 18 years working for, would you call IBM a technological company?
Click, click.
And then he asked on the show, can you Google where these great guys here helping us out, our volunteers are? First of all, he doesn't do much.
I can't even spell Google. How many O's?
Oh my goodness.
And we're trying not to tease Smoking Jim, but he got the best laugh in the business.
Google.
Nick, how long have you been on this show now?
A year and a month.
He got 13 months in, and he's a straight man for Smoking Jim Frazier. Congrats. Sorry, we're going to talk about sports shortly. We've been into this 18 minutes deep because I keep getting sidetracked and interrupted. But give us a call here, all you young people. You can have fun here because I like to have fun. I like opinions, and we're not going with too many facts so far tonight. So just be careful and forewarned. All right, thank you for that. All right, last one. A lot of pressure on Otto A1. Look what he did.
You're not even touching anything. Look at you. Mastery.
You know why?
He's a wizard.
No. How about he put tape down and I hit it? Because look, if I put it over here, what's he going to do?
He's going to get a good view of your shirt. It's like,
What's he going to do? He doesn't see it. Abracadabra. BPCF.org, Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. Now look, do I get an assist on that, or is it all Otto Man?
I think the tape gets the assist. Sorry, you get the assist though.
Black tape.
Okay. Don't have to do a disclaimer yet because Smoking Jim is actually, his vision, God bless him. God is great. His vision came back. He actually couldn't see A2's dimples, even though he's been here since July. Unbelievable. They got money for you, $100,000 to $5,000 in grant money. We've given out $1 million over 25 plus years, and we give out money every year to local groups doing great things in Bethel to make our community even better, in spite and despite Smoking Jim Frazier. All right. Next up, we have What's on Your Mind. No sponsor, but we have What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine. I did some traveling yesterday.
Where?
I traveled all the way to Peters Township for a basketball game. Al Levine, the talking machine. Never seen so many cars at a high school basketball game in my life. It was a playoff game, so you know Peters Township wasn't in it. But Laurel Highlands.
To all of our Peters Township fans, 2 years ago, Smoking Jim found out Peters Township has been around for years. And they're actually in Washington County, Cannonsburg. He didn't know that. We went to South Point, and I said, instead of going right off of 19, you go left on McMurray. And guess what? We went a quarter mile, and he saw Peters Township High School, and they were building a new building.
A lot of farmland, but
not anymore.
What?
Not anymore.
What are you looking at?
Well, I decided to wander through the school just to take a look at elevator talking machine, and I wandered down to the weight room. They got a great weight room, not much weight in there. And the girls was out lifting the guys in there, elevator talking machine.
Hold it. If there wasn't a lot of weight, how did the girls lift more of those weights than the boys? Wouldn't it all be equal?
You had to see it to believe it.
Hold it. I just have a question. If they lift maximum weight, wouldn't it all be the same for everybody?
Pardon me?
1 + 1 = 2. I got 100 pounds. Now it's 200 pounds. That's our max. Girls, you lift it. Boys, what are you lifting?
Oh, they wasn't lifting that much.
Okay.
But hey,
That was his honest opinion with one bad
But I
eye.
tell you what, after Gateway got robbed by the referees against Newcastle, Laurel Highlands may be the best high school basketball team I've seen in the last 30 years. They got a basketball player that I'm predicting will play in the NFL as a first-round draft choice, Rodney Gallagher. Keep that name in mind. He's only a junior.
How do you spell it?
Levine, it starts with a G.
Does it end with an R?
Oh, black guy with a white name. But Levine, the talking machine, speaking of whites, and it's always good.
Hold it. That's a disclaimer there.
It's always good to
We try not to talk race.
It's always good to have white friends. I always say, Levine, the talking machine, since you saved my life, I got this. It's not hard. This is a gift to Levine, the talking machine. This is official. It wasn't hard. It wasn't easy to get. Levine, the talking machine. Listen, the education you gave me about vaccinations.
NIOSH and TC.
That's official.
This is
It
official.
wasn't easy to get.
And if you notice, Bethel Park, among other places, have taken the mask mandate off, especially for people that are vaccinated.
And Levine, the
Thank
talking
you.
machine. I wasn't going to get the vaccination. You know, I was like most other black people were afraid of it. But after talking to my white friends, you guys gave me the education. But I took it one step further, Levine, the talking machine.
What happened?
I went to an all-white neighborhood to get my vaccination. Levine, the talking machine. I wasn't going to take no chance. But that's what's on my mind. Thanks for saving my life. Levine, the talking machine,
Do we
with
just-
some education. I appreciate
Did we
that.
just clap it up for white people now? Or?
Good to
Yeah.
have some white friends.
Yeah, here's me clapping. Get a close-up. Here's me clapping.
A2, you ought to
Thank
get
you.
some. You drive a black car, you dress black, you got the black swag, you gotta get you some white friends, man.
Hold it. Hold it. We caught Smoking Jim on a little exaggeration. I was honored last week to see my co-host brand new car that
Is
he
it
bought.
nice?
And it's a 1995 white Corvette in great shape. And did I say white?
It's a white Corvette. It's all black.
Thank you. Smoking Jim, what color's the mask?
Looks black to me.
That's official.
Take a look at this. He's not wearing these.
Oh, man.
According to Smoking Jim, it's a black mask.
And these glasses must be white then. 'Cause
Thank you, Smoking Jim
My
Frazier.
reading glasses.
Well, here, can you see this?
oh, you mean from the Rocky movie?
I rest my case. Thank you, Smoking Jim. All right. Nick Callis, what's on your mind?
More sports related than that. But I'm upset, legitimately upset, because baseball has failed us as a sports society. I put on Facebook, and it was also shared on the Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook page. If they don't play all the games this season, I'm not going to watch. And Rob Manfred seemed proud today to announce in a statement that they will be canceling the first two series of the season, which is about 6 games for every team. And that makes me sad, and that they ruined it. I will not watch a game. I'm keeping that promise. I might have to work games at the Fan to listen to the games when I'm getting paid to do that, but I'm not going to watch the games. I'm not going to a game. I can't support what the league's doing. What the Players Association is trying to do
Hold
is
it, just
fix-
to interrupt, just so you can make it clear and it'll be easier to explain. The owners did something called a lockout. This
Yeah.
isn't a player strike because a lot of people are anti-union against stuff like that. So there isn't a strike. And being my union history, I just wanted that put up front that the owners caused this to happen.
They created the deadline.
That's why I'm just saying
yeah.
there's a lockout. And now, as I explained, my young puppy here, they go to the next step.
No, I
This
got it.
is all being negotiated in the media, and I work for a media company. When you negotiate in the media, you're not ready to negotiate,
Yeah. So
as we all know.
they've just
And I'll tell you many times.
they've sabotaged the game for more money, and I don't believe that they're helping competitive balance. I think the players union is fighting for better funds going different places. Minor leaguers have it terrible. So, let's stop spending a lot of, upwards of $350 million, committed to one player, and maybe add some of those resources to the minor league so the development can continue and so baseball can continue to go around and thrive as a sport. Not playing games is the antithesis of what should be happening. Canceling games is not good for baseball because people can't watch games that don't happen. Thank you. Okay. I didn't know what I did this, so I'll explain later in my opinion segment because I got a whole lot to talk about there. Smoking Jim's clearly excited that I've lost my love for baseball. That's really nice of you. I'm glad I have a friend like you. That's awesome. So I'm upset though I'm not watching games. I stated it publicly and I'm gonna keep to that commitment. What also kind of stinks too now that I think about it is that that no baseball is happening. Do you know who's not, who's out of a job right now kind of because of baseball? I was one of the guys who produced Pirate games. Look at his face changed so fast. Yeah, so I'm losing money individually trying to pay off my student loans. I still have debts owed to me from other people too, so I'm really struggling for money right now.
As your business agent, I suggest you talk to Smoking Jim and his Achieving Greatness to help you out.
We're
officially. This is on Pittsburgh Sportsline.
Did they forgive all the student loans? They
No.
didn't forgive yours?
No, they just delayed them. But I got private loans as well because you don't.
Don't explain it to
All
him.
right. All right.
He cashed in books to pay off things. Then he got stuck with money, and they took it out of his pay.
Why are you raising your hand?
I just have a question. Since you're not watching baseball this year, does that mean you're not going to get me another 100 free tickets?
Oh, yes. I speak for Nick. You didn't deserve it the first time. You don't deserve it in the future.
And nobody thought I could do it either, so that's the fun part.
Well, I got to thank a few people for watching. Jason Heffron, John Panera's friend, thanks for watching the show. Amy Sillis from Giant Eagle Bakery said, "Happy Fat Tuesday, guys."
All right.
We'll explain it to Smoking Jim, but thank you, Amy. We appreciate that. Chief Chuck McElroy said, "Glad Smoking's vaccinated." Pete Kasich said, "With baseball being on hold, it should be replaced by the Polar Bear Club." Well, they just had the Polar Plunge this past weekend. So, and it's warming up, Pete. So, see if you can get us something to freeze the rivers. And anybody else who hasn't shown up on my feed, I apologize for not accessing your comments or whatever they may be. And we appreciate all of you who are watching. And carry on. We're going to go to...
I'm good. That was it.
All right.
I'm glad Smoking Jim's happy. I don't really have some shifts anymore.
Well,
so.
Here's what Smoking Jim likes. He's never confirmed that he even works since he got laid off from IBM. We don't know we don't know what he does. He seems to pull out a wad of all singles. And then he seems to post stripper pictures on Facebook. I'm not just making this up. This is my humble opinion.
It's not what it looks like, okay?
Well, Nick is paraphrasing Smoking Jim. So, Nick, what I wanted to tell you, have a little off-the-air conversation with Smoking Jim, how you can get a roll of ones that'll choke a horse so you can pay your loans. We're going to A2. You two chuckle about it over there. A2, carry on with something sports. If you can. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind actually is this month is March Madness, which is taking place in Pittsburgh, which is pretty exciting.
Happy March 1st.
Yeah, so basketball is in Pittsburgh for college this year, so that's pretty cool. The tournament's being held
At the
here.
Peterson?
I think it's in PPG Paints. I'm pretty sure.
I was in there a few years ago when we had NCAA tournaments here. A good friend of mine said, "Hey, Al, you want to go to the NCAA games?" I go, "Yeah, what do I owe?" He goes, "I got the tickets." Went and saw basketball games. Yeah, great seats at PPG Paints. It's bringing back memories for me. Thanks for bringing that up. That's great.
I don't think, sadly, Pitt's playing in the tournament, even though it's held here, but they're not that good. But
Who did they get rid of? I'm trying to think the guy that got us to the tournament, Jamie Dixon.
Yes,
and they said that he can't win the tournament and now we can't play in the tournament. I'm just confused. Sorry, that's my sports thing. No, go on. Go ahead. I like what you're saying. That's great. And I feel bad for Pitt.
Yeah, that's they're not. Pitt's not good at basketball apparently, which is kind of sad. But at least we have a good football organization.
Well, we did
here.
have one for a year, so
Yeah.
we'll see. And it did take a quarterback. No offense meant, but it took 6 years for him to become that good.
And now he's going to get drafted by the Steelers. Because that's what's in my mind.
In your opinion. We'll get to that later.
But yeah, since not really much sports has been going on, but I've been watching a lot of basketball. So it's been pretty crazy with basketball recently. The Bulls are back on top in the
Go
Eastern
figure.
Conference, which is actually pretty exciting. So that's pretty good. You're wearing the Bulls over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they in the offseason.
He's
they
a
signed-
front runner. You know how most Pittsburgh people like winning teams because we've been spoiled, and now we're not spoiled. Smoking Jim don't care. That guy was selling size 22 shoes, Bulls hat, gear, and he bought it all for $35, and that was $20 for the shoes.
And I paid him once.
No, well, he's had rolls with like 5-0 in it. I've even had somebody say he paid him $100 with ones.
Oh man.
I didn't want that out.
No,
Sorry to interrupt you. Hey, first I want to thank you for wearing your gear because it distracted Smoking Jim so much that he saw you had dimples. I'm just impressed with the pink.
Yeah.
Yep. It's very bright, vibrant.
Yeah,
like it.
and look,
how'd you
he's-
get a Dodgers hat in that color?
I don't know. I bought it because it was matched the pink, and I didn't even realize it was a Dodgers hat. I'm not even a fan of the Dodgers, but I got a Dodgers hat.
I was only a fan of the Dodgers when Piazza was there because I used to look like him back in the day.
Yes.
I had darker hair.
Yeah, but basketball is interesting. The Bulls are in second place at the East because they signed DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso from the Lakers, and also
You've
Lonzo
been
Ball.
watching some basketball to say
Yeah, I'm a
that.
big basketball fan. Thanks to Ryan back there, got me into it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's
You
a
mean
big,
in the control room?
yeah, he's a huge basketball fan.
I didn't
I
know
never
that.
knew
Yeah, he's a big Timberwolves
He doesn't
fan.
really talk that much to me.
He's not a talker.
Okay, but I
Uh,
mean, he says he's pretty good,
Yeah.
and I go, "How you doing?" Okay,
This is-
so
That's the best
I
you're gonna get
wasn't
out of him.
sure. Well, you're wearing a LA hat, and
the Lakers are terrible.
I'm confused about the Lakers team.
They're bad.
LeBron's never had teams like this now, and they're all superstars that are too old.
Yeah, they're a team.
Oh, did my opinion slip out?
In the offseason, they traded all their young talent for to the Wizards for Russell Westbrook, which has not been good for them. Westbrook has.
He's only averaging 13-some points a game.
Yeah,
and 7-8 turnovers or
If
more.
you watch highlights of him, it's just him hitting the top of the backboard 24/7.
I did see that.
His shot's been terrible. AD's injury prone, so it's just pretty much
Hold it,
LeBron.
Smoke. What's AD?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony
No,
Davis.
but what's his problem?
Brittle brother.
Thank you.
He's very brittle. He's injured.
Did you see how
24/7.
he injured his foot? I thought he broke his leg like Theismann.
Whoa.
That's how it bent. He stepped on a guy's
Yeah.
foot and
But
twisted.
the Lakers will be back soon as LeBron can play with his son. That's what he's been waiting on.
Hold it, Smoking Jim.
That's not what.
His son won't make it. Like right now, he's number 43 on the depth charts. 43.
Is that right? I thought he was number one.
Yeah, he's not that high up.
No,
Really?
Smoking Jim, your information.
Ronnie, ever since he was smoking that marijuana, he's been sliding down. He was like number one until that happened.
Wow.
Say no to drugs!
Smoking Jim. Again, I got to disclaim this. People know I'm famous for the disclaimer. These are totally Smoking Jim's opinions. None of us on here have the same opinion, nor do we have the same non-source that he has.
I mean, I do agree that we shouldn't do drugs, so.
No, but I'm talking
Good
about his
message.
source. I'm talking about his source of why he's even talking about that.
Oh, that's
We're against drugs in general, unless it's medicinal drugs that are keeping me alive. 10, 11 pills every morning and 7 at night,
Wow.
and I'm alive. So I'm for drugs that the doctors give you to keep me alive. Just so you know, you can check that out.
But that's what's on my mind.
Great job.
Basketball.
Great job.
I'm trying to think what's on my mind. This has been so distracting for the first 36 minutes.
Ooh.
I'm trying to get my focus back. What's on my mind is Pittsburgh fans are basically front runners, and when a team's winning, they're all in. You know, the Steelers, when they win a game, they're going to the Super Bowl. When they lose, fire all the coaches except the special teams coach, Danny Smith. Oh, my opinion's slipping out tonight. Things like that. And the Penguins, when they won like 16 out of 17 games, wow, we're the best team, going to go to the Stanley Cup. Then we go on a losing streak. You know what? They got to get rid of Sully. Why is he even coaching the team? And then are we trading Malkin? And are we trading Letang? What's going on? And Kasparin, you got to get rid of him. We know that. He was a number 1 pick. We can't even see him anymore. And now I'm surprised this weekend. I was at a great fundraiser at Indigo Hotel in Oakland with Jessica Lee and Bonnie Diver, Hairpiece Charities. She gives wigs to women who have cancer and men who lose their hair. She's been doing it for years since she had cancer. She's a cancer survivor. I was at a packed house. Shout out to Paul Alexander. Never met him in person.
I know Paul.
You can mention you work with Al Levine, the talking machine. So I talked to him, met his great wife, Shelley Duffy. I told her I've been listening to her since B94 days, and I knew she had to be a nice person. She goes, oh, thank you so much. You're so nice. I go, it's just the truth. So I got to talk to him. Paul Martino, who's been on KDKA for years, he goes, Al, how you doing? His wife, Joy, said hello, and I gave my beads for King and Queen of the Mardi Gras to Paul Martino and Joy, his wife, who I've known. And Paul and Shelley came in, and they go, hey, we're trying to run for the King and Queen. I go, you're too late. Paul and Joy got my beads. And they're like, oh, how could you do that? I go, they came in first. Unlike Smoking Jim on CP time. Then Paul goes, that Smoking Jim is the best. I go, I know you're a Gateway grad and you guys stick together. And I said, Paul, so nice to meet you. Keep doing what you're doing out there. Appreciate all you do. And I said, thanks for liking my loose leaf green tea weather report. He goes, I love it. Every day he says hello, you know, good morning and whatever else. He even said, nice hanging with you for a bit at this great event. So I'm riding home. Long story. You know, we delayed this first half of the show anyhow. It's my show. I can talk a little bit. Little arrogance came out. Oops, it's out there. So I'm riding in the car. I go, man, wonder what the Penguins are doing. It's the third period, and it's after like 8:20 or something at night. I'm driving home from Indigo in Oakland there. It used to be the steel mills there. You know, now it's the technology centers. Stuff like that. Smoking Jim will understand it. Techno man. So I'm driving home, and I hear 4:45 to go. Malkin scores the first goal of the game. Ended up being the only goal of the game.
Wow.
Penguins win. Both goaltenders did great. Penguins win a game. Then the other night, they win a game again.
Wow.
So now we got 2 wins in a row. How did we go from losing that we're going to be out of the playoffs and everything else? Now we got 2 in a row. Well, thanks for being a Penguin fan. Whoa, smoking.
Just a brief correction. Paul Alexander, one of the best high school basketball players I've ever seen, but he's a rich kid at Churchill.
Oh, I thought he was a Gateway.
And Gateway, we used to spank him. But he lives in Monroeville now because if you can't beat him, you join him. So yeah, but he was a great basketball player for Churchill. But Gateway,
So when I ask him
Gateway
this
used to
weekend, he's
spank
going to
him.
tell me he lives in Monroeville now?
He lives in Monroeville. Yeah.
So when I ask him this weekend, that's not going to be a lie?
Both his daughters were homecoming.
Well,
queens,
Smoking
Monroeville.
Jim, I have a little problem. You know, I watch.
Gateway homecoming.
I stalk people on Facebook. Like if it comes up on my news feed, you know, and being
There's
friends.
no such thing as Churchill anymore.
No, but I found out there's no thing like Monroeville for Paul Alexander. He shows a picture of a fireplace of his house, and it says, how do you spell this? Mount Lebanon.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was going to say he does.
He defected? Oh my goodness.
On that happy note, we'll be back in 10 seconds with Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. This Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac's going to go back 24 hours ago. I tell you what, we were so honored to have a year-end show on television last night. And I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine, came through strong. Number one, he came in on CP time. We had to call him on the phone before the show
Hold it,
and
hold
wake
it.
him up.
I got a disclaimer. With me, Smokin' Jim, would you say I'm always early or always late?
Always.
Okay. Well, I get a phone call at 10 to 6. A friend of mine, I invited him to be on my talking machine show. I won't say his name, but Kurt Miller's his name.
Okay.
And I said, I can only talk for a minute. So we talked for about 5-7 minutes. And then I get a call, are you going to be on the show? I go, it's not even 6 o'clock yet. So Ralph called me up before the show even started. I go, I'm always early. Sorry, I had this phone call.
We zoomed you in, but I tell you what, Ralph Williams did a great job getting everybody together. Claudio Rosano, the head coach for CMU baseball.
Great guy.
Luther Dupree, that got about 25 years of experience in the business, and Al Levine, the talking machine. But I tell you what, the best part of the show had to be, and I made Al proud. They threw me for a loop. They threw me a penguin question, and I nailed it. Thanks to my buddies on BPTV.
Hey,
that
Nick.
sound intelligent, didn't I?
I just got here. I need Nick to confirm that I said that same story.
He
Nick,
did. He did.
that I told him about it.
You were able to describe what a puck is correctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said it's black.
Yeah. And that's
They go, how do you know?
And that's the Fiction and Fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
And-
We
and
did a
on that
year
same-
in review with a lot of
I
talent.
got to bring up on that same thing. I go, Smokin' Jim listens to our Penguin talk, so I think he learned a little
Yeah, I
from
sure
Pittsburgh
did.
Sportsline.
I sure did.
And Luther was so impressed with how we were, he wants to do it again.
Wow, I was shocked.
He said that after the show. We had a couple minutes there, and I said, hey,
Well, I
it
had to
was-
run out because I had to get to Peters Township. Hey, and surprisingly, in Peters Township's gym, and it's a beautiful gym.
Wi-Fi.
It rivals Bethel Park's gym.
Well, it's
probably
new.
two of the best
It's new.
gyms ever seen for high school. Not one championship banner. Elevate! It was so naked in there. Elevate the talking machine. Not one.
Well, Smokin' Jim, our
Don't
school,
they got golf?
our schools.
Top golf is out there, ain't it?
No, it's not. It's somewhere further out. It's further out, buddy. But some people don't realize that Gateway recruits.
Yes, we do.
don't recruit. Our schools don't recruit.
Uh-huh.
We go with who lives there.
Oh, is that
That's
right?
why you didn't know where Peters Township was.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought you was making that name up.
No.
That's great.
Rarely do I make anything up.
We don't know where Churchill is anymore either, do we?
That's right off the Parkway. 376 for all you young
Nick
folks.
didn't know. Nick didn't
Right
know.
off
didn't know what?
376.
Churchill. There ain't no high school there no more.
Yeah, but Churchill's still there.
It's 30-something years. Gone.
Thank you, Smokin' Jim.
All right. Well, you know, baseball's a thing. If you didn't hear the news today, about 6 games will be canceled to start the Major League Baseball season. They're not happening anymore. Smokin' Jim's still happy that I'm out of a job pending when an agreement happens, which won't happen until now, the earliest Thursday, pending a miracle. So here's what I think is wrong and what needs to be fixed to keep baseball sustainable. The formula that's been going on over the last 20 to 30 years, it stopped working after a while. The steroid era happened, the wheels spun off the vehicle, and now there's metal hitting the ground, and it's making that loud, annoying noise that, we all want to get rid of. People don't care for baseball. They're fine whether it's here or not.
Just talk to Smoking Jim.
That's a big issue. Yeah, Smoking Jim doesn't care.
He never watched it.
The majority of sports fans don't care. Baseball still decides, the league's still like, no, the best option we have here is to cancel games. We need to commit to our threat to the Players Association. What the owners are standing on right now, in my experience, is the notion that baseball has been the same, it's been run mechanically the same for 150 plus years. You've heard Chip on this show say the game's been virtually the same for 150 plus years in its existence. And that's just not true. So the owners can kind of gather up this older generation of people who are like 50 and older, and they
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, so they can sit there and go, hey, we just want baseball to stay the same. We don't want things to change. And people will buy into that. So you've got the older people kind of supporting, like, okay, let the owners keep doing what they're doing. Because there's this conception that baseball hasn't changed. I've said this before on the show when I've defended the designated hitter, which is coming, which is great. But, the called strike wasn't a thing when the league was invented. Something as simple as calling strikes wasn't a thing. The pitchers had to throw to the hitters so the hitters would hit the ball, or the hitters didn't have to swing. Then the game got boring, so they changed it. In 1968, the year of the pitcher, that's a glorified year, but they changed the game. They lowered the mounds to make it harder for the pitchers to throw, and they added the DH to give the hitters more of an advantage because the hitters weren't doing well and the game wasn't working.
Wasn't it by one vote that they did it?
Oh, the DH, yeah. Later on, there was 2 abstentions that made the DH, universal DH, fail in 1980.
Just think if somebody,
although I wasn't there, so
just
how can
think
I
if
know?
somebody missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean,
Missed the vote.
If the Phillies owner would have answered the phone and voted yes, then the Pirates would have voted yes in 1980, and we'd have a DH. So, a universal DH. So, my point is that, the owners are standing on this point that the game hasn't changed, so we don't need to change it. And I feel like the Players Association is going, let's reestablish where our funds are going so that we can have more competitive balance, that minor leaguers can actually start making a livable wage in this economy, because if they're investing, the minor leaguers are making $9,000 to $14,000 on average per year. I make more than that as a part-time producer at 93.7 The Fan, a local sports station.
Well, go play baseball then.
No, because I'm not going to make as much money.
You'll be as smart
I'd
as
rather
them.
talk about it.
You'll be as smart as they are.
No, well, so the whole...
Just trying to help you.
Right, so reallocate funds. Let's support, I would say support the players, because if they're not getting paid that much and they'd rather be doing something else, the players who might want to play, if they're willing to go do something else, then they're going to go do something else. Kyler Murray went to go play football because instead of making pennies doing minor league baseball for a couple years waiting to get to the big leagues, now he's got multi-million dollars being the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. It's what's happening right now, what the league is doing is not a sustainable formula, and that's why the game's dying. There's got to be a salary floor, there's got to be a salary cap, because you don't need to give a guy $350 million. You don't need to commit to that. That's what Juan Soto's expectedly making. You got Trout making $430 million over 13 years. Harper's making $330 million over 13 years. And it's just like, why not, put that cap up there so that, those contracts go down a bit. The big stars still get to make money. But, let's put a little bit of that money into the minor leagues as well.
One little monkey wrench in that. In the Players Union with the NFL, they've maintained the better athletes make all the money. And you do get your minimum amount, but it's not fair to them. So why would the baseball stars agree to that? So you'd break the union up on a block vote. That's what I have to bring from being a negotiator for years. If you have one class of people that you're helping, they're not going your way that you want, even though they should with the Players Union. Because they're making the money. Why should they be limited? Because they'd be limited on what they could make with these wages that went out of control.
Yeah, they don't
Well,
care about
here-
the minor league.
So what are you going to do with 10% of the league that's making money like that?
Well, here's what you do. You want to keep sustaining that pattern that's been happening over the years, then you're not going to have a sport.
Here's
and
what-
we get to watch Smoking Jim celebrate because baseball's dead.
Yeah, but
That's what's going to happen.
in this day and age, how many people think of other people when they're making money that they can never spend?
Okay, I understand the feelings part of it. The game's not going.
I'm saying what they'll do.
The game will no longer exist.
How do they know that and believe you?
Because
Why?
Because
Why would they believe
these
you?
these negotiations have been going on
Here,
for
I'm
8 days.
I'm
and-
Bryce Harper that everybody loves or hates.
I do.
And I go, hey, my next contract, is up in 9 years. I want to make the same amount of money or more.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that I can't?
Well, no. When
And you go, the sport's dead then. He goes, I want to make my money.
Okay, he makes his money, but the game doesn't continue to move. The game doesn't progress because
What did
the
he
money's
care
not
about? What do
balanced
they care about?
themselves?
Thank you. You're in the me generation, so what you're saying is so
I'm trying
outrageous.
to save the game.
You're so outrageous. I give you all the credit in the world. I'll sign up to be number one on your petition for doing what you want to do.
I give you credit too.
Even
You got
though-
two of us.
Even though you're celebrating again that I work less now and make less money. Just saying. And you're not denying it. You just sit there and laugh.
Bill Means finally joined us,
Yeah.
number 22.
Yes, sir.
He joined us and he said, LeBron might be dead by the time his son Bronny makes it. Then he said, in hockey, he got me beat. He predicted the Crosby goal 1 minute before it happened to win.
Wow.
You win, Bill.
That's awesome.
You win. Go KO.
Was that the 500th goal?
No, this is just recently.
Just recently.
I was talking about the last two games.
Last 2 games.
You're talking about a week ago.
You know Crosby scored the game-winning goal against the Blue Jackets, right?
No.
No, he doesn't.
No. Hey, and the one thing before Smoking Jim talked on that great season-ending show, before he went to talk about Penguins, I said, give him a Kit Kat bar.
Yeah, yeah, Yager. My favorite penguin.
Oh, my goodness.
Nick, thank you very much for your opinions and your heartfelt solutions. And in life, I was your age once, and sometimes there's a lot of disappointments in life. But those obstacles in my way, I got them out of my way or went around them. And that's what you're going to find out.
Well, the world doesn't need baseball, and that's become painfully obvious.
USFL.
They won't last 6 months.
It's taking the place of baseball right now.
Here's what they have.
It's just not.
Smoking Jim, let me explain. Let me explain some logic. Last year, they had many bitcoins that were worth 60,000, and they held on to them like my co-host did. Now they're worth like 38,000.
Wow.
So they lost a third.
Wow.
They lost a third of their money, which to them was millions. With you, it's like pennies. And now the league won't last more than 6 months because they don't have all that money. Because they trusted something that you do. They had a certain group, we won't name, that talked to them about being multi-millionaires. So that's where they're at, if you needed to know USFL. And then I just have a question since you brought it up. How can you have a Pittsburgh Mauler team playing in Birmingham, Alabama?
Good point.
What do you mean, good point? That's a great point.
I go,
That just doesn't make sense.
how do you have, maybe you didn't understand it exactly. How did you have a team that would have been near to Monroeville and they're playing in Birmingham all their games?
Great point.
Oh, thank you. We'll move on then. Let's go to the next one. We're running out of time. 10 seconds. Come on.
A2 doesn't have a graphic, I don't think.
Oh,
No,
no
we
graphic.
No,
Guess what?
he doesn't have a segment yet.
Mr. Pink, you're up.
Well, I'll just talk about it real quick.
No, you
About-
can go to the end almost. I don't care.
No, it's fine. I'll let you get. It's your show.
I'll close it. I'll close it in a minute. Go
This is
ahead.
our show?
I think.
Yeah, you're just here.
Yeah, we're just, the NFL should bring back the challenge rule for the pass interference. Because looking back at the Super Bowl with that face mask, I feel like that could have been a game-changing thing.
Great
So
point.
The game wasn't even close. So
Well, here's what I want to know. I had asked this then. How did the referees who were right there miss the call? And
I
they
have no
gave an interpretation after the game They said he just swiped his helmet, even though he grabbed the face mask. So if a referee's saying that, we got a problem, right?
Yeah.
So I go with you. Change the rule back.
Yeah, they had it for a season. I think they should bring it back. It worked for the season, so like there's like a lot of people think that if the penalty's on, it should just stand because it's a penalty. It changes the game, but in my opinion, it makes it better for if it's just one time in the game. Which
Guess what? I gotta second my two co-hosts their emotion because they're putting the emotion into these facts.
Oh, yeah.
I got to go with
Yes,
these
sir.
two guys. I'm glad I brought a 21 and a 23-year-old show on the show that's my show.
As an official as well, getting the call right is more important than sustaining a call.
Yes.
That's what I was taught at an early age.
Who taught that to you? I need to know.
His name is oh no. What's his first name? I always call him Mr. Kramer, but I forget his first name.
Go
Tom,
by Mr.
Tom
Kramer.
Kramer. That's his
Okay.
first name. Tom
Thank you.
Kramer. Taught us if there's a
Because
mechanism.
Lanny Fratteri taught me to always ask questions.
Yeah. His name's Tom Kramer. He taught me he was my first umpire instructor, and he always said, if there's a mechanism to change the call, you're allowed to do that. You're a human. Get rid of just making it right. And so, yeah, if you
I
can,
grew
if
up
there's a
with it.
mechanism to challenge, then that'd be a good thing.
I
Nick.
like the computerized strike zone.
No, what's funny is
That's
I
right.
grew up with a dad that read the rule books for basketball all the time. Coaches and referees called to get his interpretation. My dad said this, and you can write this quote down. If you notice me during the game, I'm doing something wrong. And he was a great referee. Imagine that statement. We'll go toe-to-toe on our statements here. What do you got to say?
It's just, I think a lot of games could have been changed that for the better if it was implemented. They should have kept it.
I got to agree with you again. You're on fire. He's really known as Anthony, but I got to go A2. You went to Anthony as the best tonight. He showed his passion and the truth.
I don't like replay in football.
Who are you and what?
Yeah, why did that even come out as a comment?
saying, no.
We're talking to A2.
I'm just saying, I don't like it.
All right.
In
We're
football.
not listening to you right now.
Football's a game of momentum. And that
Football's a
kills-
game of also multiple parts moving at once, which is probably the hardest sport to officiate.
Yeah, well,
Oh, what?
You know what? You two can debate this after the show because Anthony here, who stepped up to Anthony, is going to let me talk for the last minute and 27, 26, 25 seconds. I forgot On Location. I love that graphic. Hold it, Ryan. This is an end of the show brief conversation by the talking machine. Less than a minute. It's a rare time for me. Only 1 minute. On Location, Millville Community Center, 416 Lincoln Avenue, 7:30 fights, Golden Glove fights, hosted by Ray Schaefer Boxing Club with Jose Carabello and his boxing club, so it'll be a great night. Nick's going to set us up with Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Facebook Live on Pittsburgh Sportsline. And Anthony, you step out and watch the thing, because you can see if I hit the number. Because you just come out and see it. Because we're at 36, 35. We're down to 34 as I continue to talk. So we're going to be doing special stuff at the fight, and that's On Location. Saturday, we'll be there early. Nick wants me to come in 5. We start at 7:30, so he's going to pay me overtime, and I said I'd come in.
Yeah, Captain.
And
just wanted to
I
be as
want
good
to
as-
thank all of you for being on our show, and if Anthony tells me to break the show again, I'm just going to shut up. Is he really counting down? Because please stay Joey strong.